Alrighty, welcome into Chalk Talk Social. It is the new year, January 2nd. Welcome in our first episode of 2026. And I am ready to declare Indiana Hoosiers the national champions of college football. By God, the ass beating they put on Alabama. And hey, let's put it this way. You don't want to be a college football team going into the college playoffs on a bye week. They are now 0-6. Ohio State moves to 0-3 on a New Year's Eve game. And, wow, these teams on a bye, man. I know you watched all day. They come into these games coming off the bye just sleepwalking, lethargic. That's 0-6, like I said. And those 6 teams have 21 combined first half points in these games. It is bad. College football playoffs. We've talked about it. They got some fixing to do. Iman, what's going on? How's your new year?
Hey, you already know. Happy New Year's, people. I am still about my money. I'm still about my biz, and you know it's me. In 2026, when you hear that, there it is. Man, it's been a lot of football going on. But if you didn't know, like you said, Indiana Hoosiers are a real team. And we'll get into it later. The only team still left that I think will give them a run for their money, and this is a left fielder, because it was even to the last minute that they got in. But Miami Hurricanes are the only team who, to me, up front, won't get bullied by their trenches. And Mendoza is a little better than I thought he was, but we'll get into it later. But, yeah, it's been exciting. I literally been in front of the TV since 12 o'clock. My girl, she would tell you, I have not left this room. Only to use the bathroom, come back.
Sweaty.
Yes, been in my room all day.
I can smell you from here. You stink.
All day. I do. I've been in this room all day. All day.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy, man. We got the news that's coming up. So today we got a Packers fan coming on, someone who can join me in my misery a little bit. We haven't had a Packers fan on since like episode 2 or 3 or something like that. So someone who's going to be able to join me in my misery a little bit. We'll kind of get into the season that was, the offseason checklist. And like I said, a lot of college football to unpack from just the day that has been in college football, Miami being the biggest one, just as the Michael Irvin special, belts to ass on Ohio State. That dude, talk about sweating. Holy shit. His Coke dealer's doing well right now.
Well, pause. No homo, but you see his six-pack? Like,
dude,
bro, he's like 60 years old. Yeah, I was like, once I seen that, I said, God damn, is Michael still training? What's going on?
I aspire. If only I could trade my 6-pack of Miller Lite into my gut for that 6-pack. But what a man. That's a hell of a body for 60. Good for him. And that's because he's just sweating on the Miami side. You know what his exercise is? Just sweating on the Miami sideline all season.
The whole time. Yeah.
You need a couple 2-3 towels to keep him dry. But like I said, we got the Packers fan on, so y'all know what it is. We got our Fan Friday episode. Let's roll straight into that. Today we got Bruce coming on the episode. Bruce, what's going on, man?
Go here and, found out that me and the host have some ties that I didn't realize we had when I said I would do this. So that was pretty cool.
Amazing. That's very cool. Yeah, we instantly sent the text. Hey, just so you know, our mutual said, hey, great kid. Been helping him get set up on some equipment and producing. So, yeah, I love this small world stuff like that. I had no idea. I saw you made a funny-ass video that is so relatable to anyone who's a Packer fan about, most sports team fans, is calling into the radio and what it sounds like after a loss. Very funny, spot on to what Packer fandom is after a radio. And we'll get into it a bit today because obviously the Packers are just limp dicking their way into the playoffs at this point, and it looks ugly. But Bruce, I don't know. Have you been a Packers fan your entire life?
I've been a diehard Packer fan since, as long as the first Packer game I actually remember watching, I was I was 6 years old. It was the wild card against the Cardinals, Rodgers' first playoff game. So yeah, I've been a diehard since the beginning. Yeah, raised as a Packer fan. Yep.
That's right. Yeah. So you were born in Wisconsin. Clearly, you came out with a Packer jersey slapped on you right away. That's vintage stuff. Well,
absolutely.
Well, let's start off the top then. It's another season where the Packers, they seem like they're good, but they're not great. And now we're rolling into the playoffs as the last seed in the playoffs, which is the third time in a row that they've made the playoffs as the 7th seed. Again, a spot that didn't even exist until 2020. So as you're a bit younger than the both of us. So what's your thoughts on this from your fandom perspective?
This has been a roller coaster of a season. First 2 weeks thought Super Bowl guaranteed after the win against the Lions and the Commanders. Then the loss to the Browns, throwing a loss to the Panthers, and you're tied at the Cowboys, and you're like, are we that good? And then eventually, I really felt like the ship was starting to be righted. After they beat the Bears in Lambeau, and then they're up 9 against the Broncos in Denver, and then Christian Watson gets hurt, and now that obviously wasn't a long-term injury, but then immediately following that, Micah gets hurt, and it feels like just the air is deflated out of the team. And on top of that, you already had lost Tucker Kraft, Devontae Wyatt. So it's just one of those seasons where it's like, you can feel so confident, but then just a couple injuries, man. That's the name of the league. The most important ability is availability. And, it just seemed like the injury bug hit us. So now it's going from a point where, like, I initially, when Micah was healthy, I said, this team, if they don't make the NFC Championship game, I think this year might be a little bit of a failure. But then now it's like, if we get the Bears round 1 in the wild card, just don't lose to them. And I think you're probably feeling all right about how this season is going with the injuries.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. I am so sick of the one and done type of stuff with this team in the playoffs. It's become part of their identity. Make the playoffs, win a game at best, you're gone. And that seems to kind of be. I mean, they haven't done better than. I mean, there's been circumstances with the Jordan Love era. Obviously, the first year they were the team that the Bears are now. That the Commanders were last season. They were ahead of schedule. They smacked the Cowboys up in that year that they had no business because they were the youngest team in ball. They come back the next season, and then what happens? Obviously, it doesn't get any further. And then now we're back to this season where, like you said, they were rolling high. We had made an episode where I was like, I'm officially hitting the panic button on this team, on this offense, because Matt LaFleur can't get out of his own damn way with calling run plays. And then they turn it around.
Right.
And then the Parsons injury happens. And it just all starts compounding. The 49ers are coming all the way back from their injury problems, and now they're looking insane where the Packers are the polar opposites.
Yep.
I don't know. Are y'all not hype about the Trayvon Diggs pick? He's an all-pro cornerback. He's an all-pro corner. When
like 3 years ago.
He ain't won a billion in Dallas. When he wants to play, he's pretty good, y'all.
I knew you were going to bring this shit up, too.
That's the thing. I mean, the Trayvon Diggs move, first off, when the Cowboys released him, I immediately thought to myself, like, yeah, Goody should go after that guy just because, like, why? I mean, why not? We need help at that position desperately. And, I made a video about this yesterday. I said, like, this Packers defense, from what I saw against the Ravens, I don't know if without Micah, I don't know if it's a defense that's going to be able to consistently get stops in the playoffs. But so, like, when you have a defense like that, you just got to hope that they can actually force some turnovers. And hey, I mean, Trayvon Diggs is the former interception king, and like, if Dallas, if he really was just unhappy in Dallas, which is something that we're not, that's something that we're not new to. With the under Jerry Jones, it's like, yeah, maybe a change of scenery, going to a good organization that's going to the playoffs. Like, yeah, maybe he can be a little better. And I like I said, might as well just take the flyer on him because we need help.
Yeah, because it's a pulse, and that's the big win. The Packers just need a damn pulse in that cornerback room right now because of all the injuries. Keyshawn Nixon's just been shit. I mean, I'll give it this. Trayvon Diggs has the best ball skills in that cornerback room right now.
Yeah,
but I will say, since that year where he dominated, has he been ass? And like
he gets picked on.
Exactly. So again, I'm hopeful that it's Rasul Douglas 2.0. You gotta hope for that. Gutekunst has a decent history on hitting on these veteran dudes like Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, a couple guys he's been able to bring in, and they kind of had some revivals coming to Green Bay. We gotta pray for that. Realistically, is that going to happen? No. I'm assuming we're going to see some touchdowns.
The player you hope to God it isn't is, remember a few years back when the Packers brought in another former All-Pro Cowboys player and Jalen Smith, middle linebacker. Brought him in, and fuck the guy. I think he played 2 games and he was gone.
Yeah, he was injured. Yeah, he won't ready to go, but he was injured before he even left. Right, so that was That was a big roll of the dice compared to
Trayvon. No, Trayvon Diggs is a little more safer and his name has a little more, I feel like, cachet than Jalen Smith did. But I'm just saying, I remember that's one player I thought of randomly. Me and my friend were talking about it. But,
yeah. No, that's a good call. I completely forgot about, because this feels identical. The same thing. You bring Jalen Smith and like, there's a guy who's got some spark who a lot of people like coming out of college. There's been momentum in his career, but then things haven't been going great.
Right.
And here's the thing with Trayvon Diggs. When did he excel? When he had Al Harris back there helping him out. Jeff Hafley's a DB guy. And you got to hope that Halfley being a DB guy, and granted, it's say, well, why isn't it working with the other guys right now? Fair, but you got to hope with a former All-Pro like Trayvon that he can just. Again, my expectations for Diggs. It's a pulse. He could be He's going to be more helpful than Bo Melton at cornerback, is what I'll say.
Yeah, and I'll also say, like, if he ends up getting some like clutch pick in a playoff game, like sometimes that can a play like that can decide a game. Like just anything, yeah. Fuck it, I'll take it. I will take it.
I'll take the one play.
I'll take a play that can win us a game.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into the next part then, because obviously, I think you kind of share the same sentiment. It sounds like as most Packer fans. It's like every other Packer season. They're always they remain. What am I looking for? They are when they play the bad teams, they play down to the bad teams. They somehow beat good teams, but lose or play really close to bad teams. They always end up being good, not great,
not good enough.
And there's never not always something. There's always a reason why they can't kick down the door, and there's always on the doorstep. But what's kind of been the most exciting part of this season for you, or maybe the most exciting player, and then inverse of that, like the most disappointing part?
I think most exciting, what Christian Watson has been able to do coming back from injury. First off, the fact that he was able to come back so fast. I mean, last year when he got hurt, especially because it was like in the second to last week of the season, I was just like, damn, I just knowing Christian Watson's injury history, I don't know if he'll even play next season. Next thing you know, he's back, and by the middle of the year when we really need him, and the guy just makes plays. I mean, he's a playmaker, and I've been kind of on him for a while now, where I've always said to people, like, I know he's got the injuries and it's a problem, but when he's out there and he's playing, he's the most explosive and the most impactful receiver on this team. I've said that since day one, and like this year he's proven that out. Just hope the injuries, but that 1 year, $13 million deal we gave him is just looking pretty nice right now. We took a chance on him.
Extend the extension.
Yeah. We may extend him again this offseason. So I'd say he's been the most exciting part. The most disappointing part, Rashawn Gary has kind of disappeared in the second half of this season. And, early in the season with the way he was looking with Micah, I loved it. But then even before Micah got injured, Rashawn Gary's game was kind of slowing up. And then since Micah got hurt, that's someone that you're gonna bring more attention to, especially now that your all pro defensive player is out. And he hasn't really answered the bell. Lucas Van Ness hasn't exactly answered the bell either. And I'd say those are two ones that I think of a lot in terms of disappointing. Also, Aaron Banks too. I mean, hasn't really panned out in terms of Brian Gutekunst. Maybe you should just stick to drafting O linemen instead of grabbing them from free agency. Well, whatever.
We need to get Brian Gutekunst out of drafting in the first round. Let him do everything else. But his first round picks, man, do not help this. A lot of people talk about Devontae Wyatt. So, you're missing Devontae Wyatt. Well, the only problem with missing Devontae Wyatt is he's your only true defensive tackle on this team. Right. The problem is he's never been consistent. He's never developed into a good run defender. And the Quay Walker has never been good until Edrin Cooper got there. That's very apparent. Christian Watson, man, I'm happy you said that. He's got the fifth best receiving grade in football since week 8 when he returned. He's got 12th most yards. He's 4th in touchdowns, 3rd in yards per catch, 14th in first downs. He's only got 1 drop. His hands are so reliable, and people weren't sure on that, but he's been one of the best in contested catches and making good catches all year. If he was on a full season pace, is over 1,000 yards, over 10 touchdowns. That's been every year for Christian Watson, but he's never healthy every year.
Right.
So you got to hope he can just stack one. And I'm all with you on Rashawn Gary. So disappointing. While we're on Rashawn Gary, when they drafted Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness, both big projects as pass rushers with limited pass rush moves coming out of college, what was your kind of initial reaction when they drafted both of them?
Lucas Van Ness, it's just honestly, both picks were just one of this happens with the Packers every single year when it comes to the first round, is they never take the guy you want them to take. Jackson Smith and Jigba is on the board. No, let's go with Lucas Van Ness out of Iowa. And, Rashawn Gary, I'm kind of blanking on who he was picked before. I remember when Rashawn Gary was drafted, I didn't mind the pick because he was actually a guy going into the draft that was expected to go a little higher than we took him. So I was like, whatever. Yeah. And he was also a guy that was heavily, touted out of high school. I think he was a perfectly rated recruit. So Yeah, I was fine with that. But the Lucas Van Ness, that pick specifically was like one of those Packer picks. Same with like Jordan Morgan. I was like, all right, there's Cooper DeJean's available, Jackson Smith and Jigba's available, and we go with Lucas Van Ness and Jordan Morgan. I'm like, well, that's just typical Packers. But, so far it hasn't really worked out.
Yeah, he sounded like me on this one right now.
Right.
I thought about it the other day, though. I was thinking maybe Rashawn Gary just was kind of been in the dump because you got to think, before Micah came, it wasn't, hey, well, maybe we have that one piece that can win the Super Bowl. So as an athlete, I know he's probably thinking like, well, who the fuck y'all thought I was? I've been balling. I've been balling now. Austin,
Gary?
he was balling. Rashawn
show me the stat besides Rashawn Gary's got a pressure that says he's been balling.
Well, his big thing was his big thing was always pressures for sure, and then also like he did have the he tore his ACL a couple of years ago.
I told Austin that that's all Micah did before he got to Green Bay is get a whole bunch of fucking pressure.
Well, at least he's got double-digit sacks to go with it. Gary's never had double-digit sacks.
7 games of the year, and then you don't see him for the rest of the fucking year. So I mean. Listen, maybe he was like, hey, I'm chopped liver, so if y'all thought I was nothing, maybe I'm going to just get my money and go on by my business.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's also a guy that's like, after this season he's like one of those where do you want to restructure his deal or do you want to just cut him and, save a penny, which, that's something that they're going to have to think about going into this offseason. But, yeah, no, I mean, I've always liked him as a player. I thought he's been very disruptive in some seasons, but this year I think with Micah, and that should help him out. I thought – throughout this season, he's definitely slowed up a little bit, especially since Mike has gotten hurt.
That's the thing. He's had his worst time to pressure in his career. He's not winning one-on-ones. We just saw him get bodied by a wide receiver this last week. He couldn't get off a wide receiver blocking him, and then he's kind of been dogging it a little bit. And like you said, with his ACL tear year, that was his best year. He was almost at double-digit sacks halfway through the season, tears the ACL, and he's never found that form again. Because that was the year. It's like, holy shit, Rashawn Gary's finally taken that step, and then it all came down. And then ever since then, it's just been, well, all he can ever do is get late pressures, not making impact like Parsons does off the snap, and that's kind of been tough, man. That miss has really been costing the Packers because you imagine when they drafted him, they had the Smith Bros there.
Yeah,
they didn't need a third, fourth string defensive end at the time because they're knocking on the doorstep. It's like you said. Every year, the first-round pick just doesn't seem to be a pick that helps Green Bay for the next season. It seems to be a pick that's like, all right, well, 3 years from now, this guy's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll address what we need to help us in the later rounds. And the LVN year, they passed on Smith and Jigba. They passed on Christian Gonzalez was another big one that they passed on when they also needed a cornerback at that time. So that one hurt too.
Yeah, and that and even like also like when you think about this Matthew Golden pick, and this is another one, could have talked about like the disappointing parts of the season. This guy is obviously way up on the list too. It's like, in the first round, and that was like probably the first pick where I was like, okay, now they're trying to really elevate the passing game here. I like this pick, especially Christian Watson's going to miss a few weeks. And this season, that first half of the season, they were not only down Christian Watson, but they were down Jaden Reed too. Matthew Golden really still couldn't get involved, and I was just like, man, are they just really sticking to this philosophy? And this is what they do a lot with their first round picks. Is rookie year is always kind of quiet. They feel like they want to ease them in, and but with Golden this year, I was like, man, all this stuff I heard about from him out of training camp, that he was maybe the best receiver on this team, and your top two receivers are out, and he still really isn't getting the ball. And now he's just completely ousted from the offense. He barely plays. He plays like half the snaps.
Don't worry, Bo Melton's here to save the day. Cornerback sticks here to save the day.
He always seems to be there to save the day in random spots. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Savion. It started the season with Savion Williams getting all the looks instead of Golden. And in the back half of the year, it's been freaking Bo Melton. We saw it the other week. The pass from Clayton Tune goes straight through Bo Melton's hands for the interception when Green Bay's trying to stay in the game. And the thing that's so disappointing about Golden, that was an awesome pick. He's one of those guys, like, he very well could have gone higher. He's got the complete skill set for a receiver, and people want to try to bash what Golden is and thinking he sucks. Folks, he's caught everything thrown his way.
That's the part that's so bizarre to me, is he doesn't seem to screw up when he gets thrown to it. But like, there was one incident. I'll let you go back. I just wanted to point out one thing I saw in the Bears game. It was like Matthew Golden finally got the ball in spots that the Packers, at least I personally wanted to see him in, like get him the ball in like an end around or a screen. Just get the ball in his hands and see what he can do. And twice in that Bears game, he got an end around, and both times I thought, I feel like he could have cut that upfield. Instead, he kind of just veered off to the outside. And the second time he did that, dude, LaFleur, he got in his he got pissed at him. He started yelling at him. I was like, I think this Golden LaFleur relationship, at least for this season, is probably pretty cooked. Like, I just don't think he trusts him.
That's interesting. And you know what? Good. I'd be dogging those routes too. Because guess what, coach? Let me do a receiver's job and go
me the
past
ball.
the line
I'm not a fucking running back.
Yeah,
I'm not a fucking running back.
Ball.
Right.
Let me run past DBs. I don't want a linebacker coming down the line, scraping and hitting me. Let me get deep and knock the top off this motherfucker.
Yeah,
defense.
That's the part that Matthew Golden definitely has an argument. There's like, when I get the ball, I don't screw up. Like, so just give me the ball, because I'm supposed to be our wide receiver.
He's been him. Yeah. The Packers need a man coverage beater, and in this rookie class, Golden is second in separation score against man coverage, and he's second in route win percentage against man coverage. You have your man coverage beater, and you're not freaking using him.
Right.
I have never seen anything. LaFleur's a smart guy. He's a whiz when it comes to play design, but then when it comes to in-game stuff, half the time I'm still wondering, like, what the hell are we? Because remember the first half of the year with him, it was run.
Right.
We were like 20th in pass attempts per game, where Jordan Love is balling out, but he's throwing the ball 19, 20 times a game, and we're just running all game long, and it makes no sense. So it's been better. LaFleur's definitely improved, I think, and we should get into this one. I mean, we got the offseason checklist. I'd be curious to see what you have to say on that. But while we're on the LaFleur topic, like, and Iman's a guy over here. His Ravens are gonna have some head coaching things and possible quarterback things for the Ravens this offseason coming up.
You better fire our coach. I don't care.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, let's stay on that. Fired coaches. What if you're sitting in Ed Policy, new top dog in Green Bay? You're in Ed Policy's chair. What are you doing with LaFleur and Gutekunst? What changes your mind on what's got to happen to keep them around or get rid of them?
I'll tell you. With the way you're talking, you're honestly kind of preaching to the choir when it comes to like your thoughts on LaFleur and Gutekunst. Like LaFleur, first half of the season this year, I was pretty much out on him. My breaking point was the Eagles game. I thought that was
same.
His worst.
That was the week I hit the panic button.
I thought that was his worst performance of the year, and I said, get him out of. I literally made a video. I said, get him the fuck out of Green Bay, and but since then, I thought I really can't say I have much complaints about his play design and his game plans, and also like with Gutekunst, like the first round thing is it's getting a little ridiculous at this point. But I can't really say that Brian Gutekunst has been the thing keeping the Packers from taking the next step, because I mean the Micah thing was what he did there, and the fact that he was so aggressive, that was perfect. I thought that was the perfect move, and it was looking like it was working until he got hurt. So I can't say Brian Gutekunst has been a problem. And this year, I mean, we all sometimes have our gaffes with LaFleur and just get really pissed off at him in random moments. But at the end of the day, the guy's made 2 NFC Championship games, has made this team a perennial playoff contender each and every year. And if it weren't for a few injuries the past couple of years, I'd say like maybe this team would have taken that next step. But so I honestly, I think you got a good thing going here. I think they both get extended this offseason. Because obviously you don't want them to go in as lame ducks and go into the last year of their contract and then to just play it out. I think it's either extend them this offseason, or you may have to go into a different direction. But I don't think they'll go in a different direction. I think they return.
The LaFleur one's interesting because I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, because the thing is, like, in the playoffs, is he coaching for his job? That's a big thing. If they're one and done or they lose right away in the playoffs, that's going to create an interesting conversation around LaFleur. But the way I'm seeing it is everyone says, if you let LaFleur go, he's going to be off the market in 5 seconds, which I think is true. Yeah. And in the Packers' sake, the problem is if you let LaFleur go, there is no Ben Johnson in this year's coaching market. No. Your best bet is to get Kubiak, maybe from Seattle, but he's going to be the most coveted name on the market. And your second best bet is maybe Jeff Hafley, who I think hired somewhere else. But also at the same time, this defense has been a bottom feeder defense in the NFL ever since Mike has gone out. So it's like, what? Now I'm confused.
I think if they ever thought about moving off of Matt LaFleur, Jeff Hafley would end up being the successor. I think Jeff Hafley, there's a chance he maybe stays with the Packers this upcoming season too, and doesn't because
Yeah.
I don't think there's a great job for him out there right now. And I just think that, why not just stay with the Packers, finish your business with Micah, you get him back healthy next year and try this again and then see where you want to go. But I think if they ever wanted to move off Matt LaFleur, it would be within the next year or so, and Jeff Hafley would be the successor, I think. But, I have no idea, honestly. It's an interesting one. I think if they lost in the first round to the Bears, and kind of like in the Buccaneers game or something like that, Buccaneers 2020 NFC Championship, where like the loss, his fingerprints are on the loss, and he's a big reason why they do lose the game, or people feel that way. Hey, maybe they do go in a different direction, because that would be a tough pill to swallow. You lose to the Bears like that, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I think Stenovich gets fired. I think that Stenovich is
I'm not a huge fan of him either. I mean,
he's not a play caller. His thing is offensive line, and the offensive line, granted, there's been injuries. It's been miserable this year. It's not been good, and Jordan Love's been doing magic out there evading sacks. He's been great at it yet again. I think LaFleur hangs on. I think it's going to be a hot seat to start the year if they don't make a deep playoff run this year, and I think they're going to get a new OC in there who is, and again, that's LaFleur's hire, but I think there's going to be some voices in the building that are going to have a sway on that decision, and that guy better call freaking plays, man. That guy better be able to call plays in case you need to hit the red button on LaFleur to dump mid-season. But I think Stenovich is the first to go. I think you just need a new guy in that room. His thing, it's not really working. He's good with helping with the design up front, but again, it's the run game has not been good enough this year. The offensive line has not been good enough. I don't know, Iman, where are you sitting from the third person perspective?
I love LaFleur. I think he's a great coach, but you know what I don't want to happen. Bruce said replace him with Jeff Hafley. Listen, never give a young quarterback a defensive coach. Don't do that to him. If you get rid of LaFleur, do not make a defensive coach a successor, because that just will kill Jordan Love. I say it all the time. I'm not big when D coordinators and defensive guys are head coaches. You can't win Super Bowls with them. So
I agree. This is a guy who's been to a Super Bowl.
I agree with that sentiment, but I do think Jordan Love is experienced enough to where that wouldn't affect. I mean, this is his 6th year in the league, so you see what Mike McDonald's doing. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
With the fact that Sam Darnold looks so good, yeah. I don't know.
But he's also got a superstar coordinator though. So you got to think if somewhere like Vrabel, he has a superstar coordinator like Josh McDaniels who's won Super Bowls. You got if Jeff Hafley is, you have to go get. And I told Austin, young white superstar
Kellen Moore.
Coordinator. Yes, I mean shit. Right. You got to get a fucking white superstar.
That's the risk. That's
the Whiz Kids.
Yep. Risk you run. If you go and hire a defensive coach as your head coach, you need to nail the offensive coordinator job. Nail it, like Seattle has done with Kubiak, like the Patriots obviously have done once again with bringing McDaniels back. You have to nail it. But the thing for the Packers, they don't have someone in-house. Right. They're going to have to go external, and that just boosts the risk. So I think you got to stay with LaFleur. Gutekunst, I don't know. It is hard. He deserves a lot of the criticism and heat that he gets. I 100% agree with that. And for me, a big part of it is because the first round misses the first round for him have never been to address the Packers' most immediate needs to get that team the next step the next season. They've always been a couple years down the road. Or if it is to address an immediate need, it doesn't pan out. Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt in the 20s in the same draft. Oh boy. That's turning out to be a huge reason why Green Bay's not getting over the top. Again, Devontae Wyatt has not panned out. He's not developed as a run defender. He's got 21 sacks in over his rookie contract and barely any run stuffs. So that draft alone in that first round has set back Green Bay. His best first round pick has been Jair Alexander. He's the only one to become anything if you really think about it and sit back. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What are you doing? What is your offseason checklist this offseason, Bruce?
I think you got to address corner. You just have to. It's like I think the fact that they didn't do it this offseason, besides just getting Nate Hobbs, I thought was a little perplexing. But maybe they honestly saw this Micah Parsons thing from a mile away, and they were like, we're gonna get this pass rusher that's gonna make our lives a lot easier on our cornerbacks because after Jair Alexander got cut, everyone was just like, oh my god, what are we gonna do with this cornerback room? And then, when you have an absurdly good pass rush for most of the season, that helps it out. But I don't know. I think it's going to show up in a grave way when it comes to the postseason. Like these guys, I think these guys are going to get absolutely cooked. So yeah, I think corner is going to be a major thing that we need to address. I also wouldn't mind potentially looking at more O-line. That's a typical Packer thing, and they drafted Jordan Moore, but they got to address that as well. Maybe a guard, or maybe even you kind of start trying to find the Rasheed Walker replacement, get a true staple at left tackle. I don't know. We'll see. I think that those two are the ones that come to mind right away, and also maybe a pass rusher if they do end up releasing.
I was gonna say, if you go into next season with Rashawn Gary at $19 million, you've made a critical mistake, and you should find yourself in jail for that mistake.
Yeah, maybe.
I think you gotta find someone who will take Rashawn Gary's hands off you, or you need to restructure that contract because Enigbari looks like a better player than Rashawn Gary. He's been more impactful than Rashawn Gary.
He does make plays when he gets in there. Yeah, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Iman, what else you got?
I mean, listen, I'm with y'all. I think getting Trayvon Diggs is the best thing because I hear you every week talk about that DB section and you don't like them. And I didn't know they were that bad until I started looking at them. And even against us, I'm like, shit, we don't have no all-pro receivers, even though Zay Flowers made the Pro Bowl a year ago. But we don't have any all-pro guys, anything that should be testing y'all. But, I mean, I think the Packers are almost there. It's just hard to kind of put your finger on what would take you over next. Because I never believed that Micah Parsons was going to take you over. I'm telling you.
But it was. You see the difference about him.
Listen, I've seen him in the playoffs, Austin. I'm telling you.
Bruce, he's an ex-Cowboys fan, so you know.
For years. Okay. I just started liking Baltimore like last year. So I know what he was going to do in the play. He was going to break y'all heart. I'm telling you. So
it's better than what we got.
Yeah. Listen. I'm telling you, you would have been upset.
Hey, trust me, I was thinking that. I mean, I remember him when I saw the Packers play against them. In that Jordan Love's first playoff game.
Killed him.
Micah Parsons, you didn't even know he was playing in that game. I mean,
thought he was injured.
Everyone, that game is so funny to me. Like Jordan Love, obviously played insane, but it was honestly a little absurd to me how bad the Cowboys played on defense that day. It was like he was playing against air. It was.
Listen, man.
But I had faith that Micah would. He does have playoff woes, but I had faith that he was going to be. They were going to get over that.
I ain't ready to throw it on that one yet. I'm all on board still.
You heard what they say. If it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, you better get ready for that motherfucker to go Aflac. I'm telling you, you better get ready. That's who Micah Parsons is when it matters, when big time. And now the good thing I can say, he didn't have a podcast this year, so he was a little bit more focused.
Right.
No podcast. He didn't have clubs to go to and shit. I don't know how it is out in Green Bay. Do y'all got clubs?
There ain't shit.
No, clubs. There ain't clubs. There ain't clubs.
For real.
There's dive bars. You got dive bars. That is it.
That's the other thing I think about Packers. Like with Micah Parsons, when you're in Dallas, you're constantly worried about a bunch of other shit. You're worried about your owner. But when you're in Green Bay, first off, there is no owner. But then also all you know when you're in Green Bay is football. That's just that's all there is to do. That's really all there is to do.
No strip clubs either?
No.
Probably,
come on.
I mean some ones you maybe don't want to find yourself in. You might just turn around when you get in the door.
You walk in, it's a walk-in, walk-out type of strip.
Damn.
Yeah, you've made a mistake. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was balling.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think Green Bay is a great environment for him. Jordan Love's his boy. I mean, him, Love, Diggs, they all share the same agent. So obviously, as soon as you see Diggs hit the market, you knew he was going to be a Green Bay Packer. It was the most obvious thing I ever seen in my life. But all right, Bruce, anything else you want to throw in there before we let you dip?
I guess we can make this quick, but who's your guys' Super Bowl prediction? I'll give you mine after.
Now listen, this gonna be and no bias, Bruce. But if we can beat the Steelers, don't be surprised if the Baltimore Ravens are not. Listen, we don't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes this year, and Josh Allen's defense is all ass. There's nobody. Now, if Josh Allen had just a smidgen of defense, I would be like, Buffalo's gonna be the guy. But I don't. Listen, no Patrick. We can deal with Josh. So that's AFC, NFC, Seattle. I've been saying it for seven weeks now. Seattle Seahawks. I see them in the Super Bowl this year.
All right.
I'll tell you who I'm out on. I'm out on the Broncos. I believe in the Texans defense, but I can't buy into their offense. So I'm kind of out on them. The Jaguars, I'm starting to buy into more. I think the Jaguars could actually beat. I could see a Jaguars Patriots AFC Championship game.
100%.
And that sounds crazy to say because halfway, up until 6 weeks ago, I would never in my life thought I'd be saying that. Chargers offensive line is going to get them killed. Bills ain't got a chance. Rams, 49. I think the Super Bowl champ's coming out of the NFC West. That's about all I can say. And maybe it's because I'm in Seattle. I'm going to go with the bias because I love their defense. Their offense can be so damn potent. And even when Sam Darnold's seeing ghosts and throwing 4 picks, they can still damn near beat the Rams. So the 49ers are on fire. So it's hard for me to leave them out. They're going to get Fred Warner back too. And they got 2 guys playing at an MVP level on offense right now. But I'm going Seahawks in the Super Bowl. To win the Super Bowl? Did you say to win?
Yeah, so you got your matchup. Who you think's winning? I'm assuming Iman's going with the fucking Ravens. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's okay. So Iman's wrong.
Hey, I'm telling you now, Lamar's still Lamar. If we get in,
you might want Snoop out there. I'm thinking.
No,
but
no.
Lamar in the playoffs though, he can be a little shaky. He has his playoff demons along with Micah Parsons.
But now that he's hearing these rumbles of we getting you up out of here, I think that's going to motivate him to say,
catch a bag.
Yeah, if y'all want to get rid of me, you getting rid of this. But we'll see.
Who you got, Bruce?
So, listen, out of the AFC, I think the best football player alive is Josh Allen, and I love Josh.
I do agree.
I just think that dude. With you said no Mahomes. I mean, think about how that is for Josh, dude. The guy is Patrick Mahomes has prevented Josh Allen from making, the Super Bowl basically 4 times in his career, and it's
crazy.
And I just think that without him and the fact that he can go into the playoffs is this kind of feels because he's people need to know this about Josh. He's a hell of a playoff performer. His numbers, if you look at them stacked up to even Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Outside of the win-loss record, which is a lot different, they're right there in terms of numbers. Josh is never really a guy that you have to worry about. But yeah, that defense is shaky. I just think that when it comes to the NFL, I really do believe in certain players, and I think it's their time. And I think in a wide open field, I think that the Bills can beat the Patriots. I think that the Bills can beat the Ravens. I saw them do it already this year. And the Broncos, I'm kind of with you. I'm very iffy on that team. I do think Jacksonville and the Texans are very interesting just because, I saw the Texans play Josh Allen and they, completely flustered the guy. And, who's the other team I was thinking of? I don't know. I think the Patriots are interesting, too. It's just an interesting year because it's,
I want to see Josh Allen get it, too.
Yeah, you literally do not know who's going to win it all this year. And then out of the NFC, man, the Niners are just they've been the Packers' kryptonite for fucking years, and I also think that in terms of playoff experience, they're a team that's been knocking on the door for not just recently, but this is a team that's been knocking on the door since 2019. They've always been a perennial NFC contender, and they've made 2 Super Bowls, and they've never been able to get it done. And I think that'll be Bills, 49ers.
Ooh.
And I think that the 49ers get over the hump this year.
Oh, man. If the Bills make it to the Super Bowl and still can't get over the hump,
that'd be heartbreaking.
Run back the 90s again where they just get there and can't win. I want to see I'm a big Josh Allen stan myself.
Me too.
But, man, Josh Allen and James Cook are the only thing going on that offense. And that defense has not been reliable. It had a good game. I mean, losing 13-12 when Jalen Hurts throws for 0 yards in the second half that's insane. And obviously Josh Allen's 2-point throw was not helpful. I don't know. That team scares me. I feel so bad for Josh Allen. I want to see him get it so bad.
Yeah.
If he's on though, I'm with Bruce. I don't think nobody can beat him. If he's really Superman that day, if he has the ball last with 20 seconds, you losing.
That's what I kind of say. We've seen him in the playoffs, being able to get on these hot streaks, and again, it usually just seems to lose to that one guy. But I'm just saying, the reason why I think he's the best player in the league is because his best is
better than everybody.
If he's on his game, the Bills are not losing a game. But
I agree.
and they got to do it on the road too. So
Yeah.
100%.
Tough.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on talking Packers with us.
Yep.
Best of luck to your sanity watching the rest of their season. Obviously, they're benching all the starters, and the 5 starters they got left, they're benching them for the last week of the season. And I'm hoping. I know they beat us, but I'm hoping. I just need to see the Packers play the Eagles somehow. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I just need to see them play the Eagles because I think we can put belts to ass on Jalen Hurts, and I think that Bears offense is that's scaring me too much. And I hate to say it.
Give me the Bears and Soldier. Give me the Bears and Soldier. That's who I want.
I would love the rubber match because I can't wait to talk shit online on Twitter to all the Bears fans. But hey, Bruce, thanks for talking ball with us. You have a good rest of your year and Happy New Year, man.
Yep. See you guys later.
All right, go Pack.
All right, Bruce.
Later.
All right, Iman. Let's get into it. We got the news desk coming up, and like I prefaced, this is going to be pretty heavy into college football because it's all happening. College football playoffs is here, is loud. Let's start with first on the news desk list. We got to cover that Miami puts the Michael Irvin special belts to ass on Ohio State 24-14 in the Cotton Bowl. We talked about Carson Beck just now, but the most expensive NIL transfer in history, Carson Beck took down one of the most expensive rosters ever in college football history. And you and I both thought, this Ohio State team, no one could beat them. They're so dominant. Hands up. I was a fool for thinking Ohio State was going to be unbeatable. Obviously, Indiana proved that earlier. And now that we're, when you really sit back and kind of digest this Ohio State team now, you just look at their schedule one more time and be like, hold up a second. All the signs of frauds were here all the time. You start with Texas, you put up 14. Then you go and you lose to Indiana, and you put up 10. So you think about the 2 good teams and really good defenses they played this year. They scored 24 total points before then only scoring 14 again. So that's one thing. And then they stack the rest of their schedule with a bunch of cupcake mid type of teams right now. So Julian Sayin, man, he was I heard a lot about Julian Sayin from Ohio State fans, but he was kind of the worst part about that loss. He's still a year away. And I think what we've learned about Julian Sayin is he's not capable of pulling back an Ohio State team into a game when they're playing a really good defense.
Listen, and so going into that game, I was talking to my friend. Initially, I was saying that, I thought Ohio State would win, but I always knew it was going to be close because like I told him, I said Miami is more similar to Indiana defensively and offensively up front than anybody else that Ohio State played. And what gave Ohio State issue is the D-line is active, linebackers who don't mind hitting, and I think the smart thing that they did, Jeremiah Smith, go do whatever you want to do. We're going to take Carnell Tate out the game, though. We're not going to let both of these guys kill us. Jeremiah, go do what you're going to do. Get open on post, get all the yardage you want, but we're going to take Tate out the game, and we're going to make Julian Sayin really beat us with who he say. So I thought that was a good game plan. I mean, Miami's freaking physical. Listen, I don't know if you watched it because you've been saying it earlier. You don't think that boy banged.
I'm taking it back. I was going to say it. I'm taking it all back.
He can turn that corner. He can drop that shoulder. He's active. I mean,
Ruben Bain kicked their ass.
Yeah, and listen, I think he does need some moves, but he kind of impressed me. Like, hold on, this Ohio State, and he's active against these guys. So I was like, I can't wait to tell Austin, hey, did that not kind of impress you? Because he played.
That's a flexible 275-pounder right there.
Man. He's in that corner, getting that shoulder down.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, hey, I don't know. So you can always get faster. I teach speed every day, so I know getting faster is something you can do.
They definitely won that game in the trenches. They absolutely bullied the shit out of Ohio State up front. 153 rush yards to 45 rush yards. And again, and I know we talked about it previously, these conferences bloating up is a bigger problem than people want to give it credit to. Like these huge conferences, it's really coming into play when we're thinking about these teams and what they are and what they are not going into the playoffs, right? Ohio State was, again, able to build up a schedule with playing half of the Big Ten that is not the best half of the Big Ten even. And, Michigan, say what you want about Michigan. They suck. Bryce Underwood's got terrible. He is so far mechanically away from being a solid quarterback. So, like, the schedule thing, is a big problem because the conferences are so big. You don't see the best teams all year. Ohio State didn't play Indiana till the end. Ohio State, every team, if you want to be the best team in your conference, I need to see you play the best teams in your conference all year.
Miami was almost not let in, and Texas A&M at one point was top 3 in the nation. Ohio State was number 1 all year. But now the one thing I do say, I don't know if you look at Miami, them some big human beings, man. That one tackle they got, I mean, Miami just looks big. Pause. They just, I mean, so compared to everybody, and I do think the Big Ten is tough, but like you said, if you go look at the schedule, Ohio State really didn't play anybody, but Indiana, and Indiana beat them.
And that's what I'm saying. And then you look when they played Texas again. They sandwiched their 2 best, hardest games of the year. That they couldn't do anything on offense in either of those games. In between, that's just a bunch of fluff and like mid-tier programs. Like, say what you a Big Ten team or not. Like, if they're not good, they're not good. And oh man, Jeremiah Smith, because Miami was his other school, you saw at the end of the game, that's all his boys.
The whole team,
that's all his boys.
He was hugging everybody. I said,
he's gone.
I said, and listen, and I know I'm a sore loser, Austin. I'm being honest.
Same.
I've coached against guys that I played with. I coached against guys that I grew up with. I played against guys in my neighborhood. Me losing, I couldn't have been that guy unless I was saying, well, maybe I need to come join y'all because I'll talk to y'all later. I can't be doing all this hugging, taking picture and shit. Like, so to me, that was kind of, and in my eye, I don't think Julian Sand is a year away. I think these games is proven he's not as good as everybody thinks he is. And
he can't take over yet.
No. Yeah, so I just think Jeremiah Smith is thinking that too. But I was a little like, man, y'all too friendly right now. And I get it, you from Florida, but nah.
And guess what? And I remember this. I said, I think our second episode, we need to give Mario Cristobal more respect. He ain't perfect, but he's a damn good coach. And obviously Miami didn't have the greatest ever season, but gosh darn it. That one, I felt very validated. I was bought into Cristobal to start the year. I was believer in what he was building, the whole hype around the team there. And gosh darn it, I'm feeling good about that one. And Cristobal is going to have a job in Miami next season. And I think, while Sane was absolutely the most disappointing part of that loss, by God, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs. What? Yeah, come on. Caleb Downs, 2 forced fumbles.
He had a couple, but
and then I think with those guys, what I was trying to say between the 3 of them is they were like they were visibly there. They played well. Downs dominated. The only problem for Downs is no one wants to draft a safety in the top 5. Caleb Downs is a top 5 talent in this draft class.
I think he's gonna go before 10. I don't know.
He should
5, but I think he's gonna go before 10.
Unbelievable talent.
And I still thought he did good with a couple, but he missed a lot of tackles too. I don't know. Go back and look at that game. He missed a lot of tackles. And I mean, and granted, Mario Cristobal built the team. I told you last week, football is still about running, tackling, and I don't care how many people want to get away from it. You don't need the best guy behind center. You just need a guy who's not going to make a mistake when it matters. Carson Beck, I mean, everybody's been down on him. He just didn't make any mistakes, and that's how you win games. But we'll see. Listen, we'll see. If you're looking at Miami, everything Miami does, you just can't say that they don't have a chance to win it all.
Yeah, and hey, I know a lot of people are giving him flowers, so we're gonna give him flowers. Is Keontae Scott on Miami? He got the pick 6 in that game. He raised his draft stock.
That was one of the best plays I've seen, though, too. Like, he jumped that, and Jeremiah Smith, you got to be a better blocker than that. That was terrible.
That's the thing about Banks is I think he might be the biggest winner from this game. And, I wasn't that familiar with this game, so I had to go back, and I tried to watch a lot of Keontae Scott and seeing what I could make of him. I wasn't that familiar that he was like a true like nickel cornerback, but I think now that I've pieced a lot of this together, I think he's going to be like the first or second like nickel cornerback taken in this draft because the dude just lives at or behind the line of scrimmage making plays. He reminds me of Javon Bowler with the Packers, honestly. If he's around the line of scrimmage, your ass is on the ground or you're getting blown up behind the line of scrimmage.
Everybody on that defense don't mind putting a helmet to you. Everybody, they're all physical as hell. That's one thing that I was looking like. Everybody on this defense will put a hat on you. So
Yeah, Michael Irvin's slipping something in all those boys. Gatorade, I'm thinking. Those boys, they play like rabid dogs.
I mean, Ray Lewis was there. Warren Sapp was. I mean, so literally the energy was in the air for them to kind of get it done, man.
Hell yeah.
Jason Taylor being the coach is just.
Oh, my. College football is better when the U is present and atop of the world, because whenever Miami is good, they bring attitude, they bring punch you in the freaking face football, and that's what I love, and I need more of that. So I'm happy the U is back. Let's go to the next one. The still undefeated Indiana Hoosiers absolutely shit pumped Alabama 38-3 in the Rose Bowl. This was the most embarrassing bowl game Alabama has ever played. I'm willing to stamp it at that. That was pathetic. I don't care that Ty Simpson went out in the half. I don't care. You could have had him. You could have had their best quarterback. They were getting ran out of the building, whoever was playing quarterback. So, and they got ran out of the building by a bunch of JMU transfers. That's interesting. That JMU program that no one likes and wants in the playoffs. A lot of JMU boys making plays against that Alabama team right there. So, and look, Cignetti, good Lord, I don't think there's ever been a turnaround in college football as quickly as and insanely improved as Indiana has been in the 2 years since he has been there. So we have talked about Cignetti a lot, and I'm ready to stamp that right now, this moment. There should be no debate. He is a top 3 college football coach in any given year. That's where I'm at. It's Kirby Smart, Cignetti, and who else? Anyone? Bueller?
Dan Lanning, if they can kind of make a final, I would say Dan Lanning. I would need to see Dan Lanning make a final, though. I mean, he's been in the conversation. So I would have to say Dan Lanning has to make a final.
Maybe one of those. I think but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's sure as hell. I mean, Alabama's got a standard, and Kalen DeBoer should be shaking in his boots a little bit. Now that Michigan's got a coach too, so it's like, I don't know what the hell happened to him.
I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to think, so I was also talking to my friend about this, watching that game. I thought that was a fireable offense because we heard you've been sneaking around with the Michigan job anyway. So if your name was coming up about it, we was thinking at one point you might want it to leave us. And now this happened. That had to be the most embarrassing game. That I'm going to be honest, I've been watching college football for a long time, and I just remember all the Nick Saban games. They lost some games, but today was like –
that was bad.
And don't get me wrong. So I want to preface that with Indiana is a well-coached football team. I'm talking about gap, discipline. They block up front. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They do a lot of fundamentally things good. Now, Alabama still just got to be Alabama, though. I mean, it's just Alabama. You get the best players because of Alabama. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kalen DeBoer, and granted, there's no coaches out there, so I think that may save him their job. That may save him his job. But, and shit, Ty Simpson, even before you got it, bro, your stock has dropped bad.
You better stay.
His stock has dropped bad. I think he has to come back and get better. Yeah, he didn't look like a pro to me today. I'm just being totally honest. And granted, Indiana made Julian Sand look like that, so I don't know. But
I mean, Ty Simpson's kind of been up and down on like, is he a first rounder? Is he not? Now he's finishing the season. Granted, hurt, and you're not a first rounder. Yeah. You need to come back and bump your stock because now you're at best probably a late second round. I don't think anyone's taking. I think he goes in the third round if you're smart. But sure. Speaking of quarterbacks in this game, like I need to go back and I need to erase, delete anything I said about the Raiders not taking Mendoza first overall. They need to draft. Holy shit, was Mendoza good, right? We're talking about a dude, 3 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns than he had incompletions. He had 200 passing yards, and I'm not even sure he was sweating at the end of the game. He made it look so easy on them. I could watch Mendoza give interviews all day long. I
can't. No.
Man, it's so... No. I was out there. I'm smiles. Somebody cut up a highlight clip of him doing interviews. It would go hard, and I know it's going to make a couple GMs hard, too, if you hear me. Now, And I'm just saying,
I'm
shut it down. Take out the starters if you're the Raiders. Draft Mendoza first overall, and get Mendoza throwing Brock Bowers to football next year. I'm in. I'm all in.
I give him. I give him. He can play. He's way more athletic than I actually thought he was. He made some runs where I was like, oh, he can kind of move. So I'm not taking away that he can play. I'm telling you, I am just so off when he opens his mouth in interviews. I can't do it. It's something that says no to me. Like he's just too quirky, corny.
It's so funny.
I don't think that's gonna go well in locker rooms where you gotta kind of tell guys, hey, get your shit. I don't know.
Not guys, grown men.
I can't do it though. And like I said, I'm not taking away his skill set. He's an accurate baller who can throw the football. And like I said, he made some runs that made me see like, oh, you can run a little bit more. His personality is just, ugh.
Oh, but a GM's gonna eat it up.
Maybe
a GM wants that to be the face of their franchise.
GMs don't play though, but the GMs don't play.
But they are the ones who draft. So if I'm the Raiders sitting 1-1, and I know Tom Brady, who this guy just reminds me of Tom Brady in the sense of on the mic, not talent. On the mic, cleaned up.
Tom Brady was swagged out. He wasn't.
Not when he was coming out. Not when he was coming out.
He always. If you go look at old interviews, he was never cringy, corny. I'm telling you, Tom Brady was never cringy, corny, like saying freaking and like just and
Phil Rivers, come on.
He's like super overly religious too. Listen, I love God like everybody else. I just think when they over religious sometimes as athletes, because I'm like the losing team athletes prayed too. They ask God to help me too. So I don't know.
I just think that game, you like him or not, I think that game sealed it that he's going to go 1-1.
He's a baller. Yeah, he's a baller.
He's been very good. And I think for me, I've been one of the people who just been saying it. I don't think he's a top 2 quarterback in a majority of quarterback classes. But that game against the talent that Alabama's got, no matter what their problems are, that one for me, I was like, all right, I could see him possibly being like the second quarterback take in most drafts. Maybe not like the Caleb Williams, Drake May type of class and Jane Daniels class. Maybe he's still the 4th in that class. But most class, I can see him being like the 2nd. Dante Moore's still good. And other guys in the
need to come back, though. He needs to come back.
He's not coming back.
He needs to.
He's gonna get a bag as a top 2 pick. There's no way.
I don't know.
He might go 1-2. He could go 1.
He's super accurate, but he don't jump off the screen for me too. So his accuracy really does it for me because he pinpoints that ball. But I also think I don't know. It was some things today like fumbling, like handoffs, just small things to me. Like, hold on, this is the biggest stage. Why are you doing that right now? So I don't know about him. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Mendoza, he was surgical. He's now got 29 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the red zone this season.
No turnovers.
That's crazy.
Turnovers. He does nothing wrong. He does nothing wrong during the game.
And that's, that's why I'm just like, you know what? As much as I think you can go out and get a quarterback not in the draft and you can trade back and stock up picks, I think, this is what a lot of Raiders fans were saying in our comments on our video about this is, look, we have had so many opportunities to go get the quarterback in the draft, and we've never done it. We've just a bunch of patchwork that was never a long-term thing. We've always missed our opportunities. They're so fucking sick of missing their opportunities to go draft the future quarterback.
That Jamarcus Russell killed them. That gave them the worst taste in their mouth. They was like, oh, no, we ain't doing this shit no more.
Ever again. Yeah, that's a good I forgot.
I think he's a guy that you could roll the dice on. Yeah. And listen, even going back to what we were saying, listen, if I'm the Giants, I'm looking at him like, Jackson Dart, I might need to move you for this guy. I'm just being honest. And like I said, outside of personality, that 6'5" frame, I like surgical guys who want to throw the ball first. I've never been into the runners. You don't win like that for real. When Jalen Hurts has won, it's won with his arm. Go back and look when he won the Super Bowl. It's with his arm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm with you. I think Oakland take a shot. Yep. New York, if Oakland don't take a shot, New York take a shot.
Jets got to take. Well, that's the thing, and
Oh
I
yeah.
agree. That was the
Don't
biggest
go
thing.
to
Like,
the Jets though. I don't want to see him in fucking
you're gonna
Ebony
die.
Jets.
You're gonna die there.
Yeah, I wanna
Well,
see him
that's the
there.
other thing. He reminds me of the old NFL offense. Just stay in the pocket, dice a team up, just be surgical about it.
Too.
And the Raiders they have talent on the offensive line. They're gonna have Jackson Powers Johnson around. They're definitely gonna go out and draft another dude on the offensive and defensive line, most likely.
Yeah.
And they need receivers. Speaking of receivers, I mean Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt on Indiana, they both solidified themselves as day 2 picks. They both are kind of, second round, third round, maybe guys. Wow. Omar Cooper is going to make a GM
drafted.
very happy.
Yeah,
Surratt's a dog. Yeah, they're going to have a nice draft. They did well there. So did Roman Hemby. I mean, Indiana kicked the shit out of them on the line. I mean, with 10 minutes left in the game, Indiana had 204 rushing yards, 2 dudes at 90-plus yards with a touchdown. Roman Hemby gets that final touchdown of the game where he just bullies through him. His draft stock went up this game in a big way too. So, man, they just kicked the shit out of. They were suffocating on defense today.
Now, what I do want to see Kirk next year, because let's to lose the Heisman Trophy candidate, probably 2 receivers. You're gonna lose 2 D line. I want to see what he does.
Gonna lose your center.
Yeah, he's gonna lose damn near 12 players. So now I am patiently waiting to see if because if you look at the team is full of NFL guys.
Veterans, yeah.
I want to see what he's going to be able to do once you lose those guys.
Hey, the only argument there is let's cut back the tape to when he was at JMU or Elon. All the guy did was just win. He just won.
Yeah. He said, "Google me, I win." I mean,
there it is. Google me, I win. All right, next one. We already kind of talked about it. Oregon, they absolutely take it to Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, shutting out the Red Raiders 23-0. And hey, Texas Tech's defense is still sick.
Legit.
But watching their offense makes you kind of sick. And that was they just got cooked. And again, I'm bringing back JMU once again. I'm just saying JMU put up 34 on Oregon. Just saying JMU had 228 yards in the first half before Oregon pulled their starters. And Texas Tech only had 215 yards all game. I'm just saying. Again, like we said a couple weeks ago, the G5 ain't the problem with the playoffs.
No, it is, Austin.
These are Power 4 teams getting shit pumped.
Well, so JMU got the offense. Let's be clear, because once you get up on people, you start running preventable defense who just won't let you score fast. That's how you get stats. I tell people all the time.
That was the first half. They weren't doing that in the first half.
But this all I'm telling you is I think that JMU shit is fluff. I think it's fluff.
Okay.
But I do want to start saying, hey, listen, we got to really, 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 really just say fuck conferences and make every conference schedule the top half of every other conference. So it's not just I play 1 or 2 SEC schools all year. No, fuck that. Because if we do away with conference championships, then whether I play everybody in my conference, it don't really matter. Play 2 teams in the ACC, 2 teams in the Big Ten, 2 teams in the SEC. Then that'll leave me with 5 more games. Then I'll play Big 12 schools. And granted, Texas Tech defense is Bailey or 31.
Fast. Bailey is fast.
Anytime I see guys play with no gloves on, I'm like, yeah, he's a football player.
That's a motherfucker.
Like, he's legit. Number 2, legit. Their D-line isn't a legit. Their defense is legit.
You want to talk?
But that and you told me after game 2 about that defense, but that fucking offense, Morton and them receivers are fucking trash. Yeah.
Texas Tech's another team that's going to have a lot of replacing to do. They're going to lose that entire defensive line in the draft. They're literally losing every single one of them.
Everybody.
So they're in some. Hey, and freshman All-American Brandon Finney on Oregon. He might be a top 5 deep cornerback in the nation as a freshman All-American. He might have just had his best game.
Let me give you this story, Austin. I've been coaching.
You know him?
Listen, go look. I was coaching in MIAA when I first got here, starting in 2021 for 2 years. And I used to see this big, tall fucking guy running 155, 200s and be like, this is a big, fast. And when I first got here, I didn't know who was the good football player. So then I asked the kids, hey, does he play football? And they're like, yes, he's one of the best. I looked at that guy for 3 years, run track. I never went to the games because the school I was coaching at beat the shit out of. We've won the MIAA 3 years in a row. So his team, we used to beat the shit out of, 50-something to 0. But I looked at that guy for 3 years. Go look it up. He's from Maryland. 3
I was
years.
saying, is this a local guy again?
Yeah, he's a local guy, Finney. I watched him, and soon as I seen him getting off the day, because I knew he was there, but I didn't know he was making an impact like that because I just don't follow Oregon, and they're all the way over there. But I sent some of the football guys who don't want to run track, like, y'all need to run track, because I looked at this guy for 3 years go against the people we used to coach in track, and I'm like, damn. And he's a good kid too. He used to be like quiet at meets, like not just boastful. But yes, I know the guy. And it's crazy. Small world.
He's like he's like Jeremiah Smith on the other side of the football. He could go get drafted tomorrow, and he's a freshman. He can go get drafted in the first round tomorrow. He's a freshman, dude. Whoa, freak. So yeah, that is that game. And then so let's wrap it up here with 2 more topics, kicking it over to the NFL now. We kind of prefaced it earlier, but the rumors are starting to get a little bit louder. They were amplified this week about coming from internal league circles that a face of the franchise quarterback will be on the move this offseason. And now we can talk about who is our bet going to be, right? Obviously, obvious names are going to be Kyler, Tua, Lamar, and someone else. For me, I'm sitting back like, Kyler and Tua ain't no face of the franchise names anymore. These guys who are going to have to, they're going to be given a quarterback 1 job, but they should probably have to earn a quarterback 1 job at this point. And so when I boil it down, I was like, I think the Jets are going to go make a big mistake and overspend on Kyler. That's what I think will happen. But if I'm being realistic and we're using the words face of franchise quarterback, then I'm like, well, that's got to be Lamar because he's the only other name unless there's some random name. And obviously the Dolphins are in quarterback hill, and obviously the Dolphins and Lamar, there's already been that rumor thing going on recently before this season too. So I don't know where you sit with this one because I know that would impact your life in a big way.
Yeah, no. I listen. They can stamp this date. They can screenshot this, screen record. If Lamar leaves Baltimore, guess who's leaving with him? Me. I'm not fucking, no, I'm not. Listen, wherever he goes, which now, I did hear the one theory to Minnesota. I would love to see Lamar with Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson.
Nope.
Listen, with a defense like that. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see him in Miami. I don't give a fuck how it's home for you.
That's the only place I think he'd stamp on.
But I've been hearing Minnesota, a swap of the guys and a little bit. I'm telling you now, I heard that. Shannon Sharpenen was talking about it, and they're hearing agents say that Minnesota is like one of the first destinations. But I'm telling you, Austin, I would be so disappointed in Baltimore. That guy has done a lot for the organization. He's not the reason we're losing. He's not the reason we've been. I mean, he was a superstar last year. Andrews dropped the ball. Our defense been shitty. So he's not to get rid of him. I'm telling you, I would move teams one more time. And wherever he go, I would hate for that to happen. But these whispers are getting louder. So
yep. There seems to be smoke.
And the only thing I don't like that because we're about to, if we win, we can make a playoff run. But you don't want your guy going in the playoffs thinking either I win or they get rid of me or they're going to get rid of me regardless. Yep. Like, why do you do that to him right now? Mm-hmm. Like, that's fucked up. So,
well, that's the thing is the Baltimore Sun. I don't know. I've never heard of it, but it's clearly a newspaper out there.
Newspaper here.
The Baltimore Sun was reporting that the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson is reportedly not out of the realm of possibilities as the two sides are at a crossroads. So that doesn't help that you got a local outlet reporting these times, not some, fake local outlet, a real local outlet. And if I'm thinking, I didn't know Minnesota, but Minnesota's a worse situation. They don't got a running back. TJ Hawkinson's gone this offseason. The fans are ready to get rid of him. He's a cap casualty. So here's the thing about the Dolphins or the Vikings, if whoever it is, you're giving up your first round picks for, the foreseeable rest of your life. The Vikings, they're going to go get Lamar. They're going to have no first round picks. They don't have a running back. Their offensive line is kind of struggling. They're not going to have a tight end, and they're going to have to throw out Jordan Addison. He's had a lot of drops this year. They're going to have to give up Jordan Addison. So now you're down to Lamar and Justin Jefferson and a defense that's kind of like this was.
I think that on turf.
Well, here's the thing, though. You can send him to Miami. I think they're going to be able to hold on to Achane, and they're going to hold on to Waddle because I think they can send back Tyreek Hill in that trade.
They have
I
a
think because
terrible
Miami
defense.
wants to get rid of him.
Yeah, but they got a terrible defense. I want my guy on turf. Listen, do you remember when Mike Vick was on turf? What the fuck he was doing?
Fast.
You put my guy on turf with Justin Jefferson, and they don't need anybody else. I'm telling you, they don't. You give Lamar Justin Jefferson on turf playing indoor. He doesn't have to play in the cold anymore. You got to think Baltimore get cold November.
Miami don't get cold.
Yeah,
Miami barely plays in a cold game.
They have a terrible fucking team. I just don't think that's a good team.
But can you imagine that offense? That might be one of the most athletically prolific offenses ever.
But if they could keep that together, I don't think they'll be able to keep it.
They get rid of Tyreek Hill. I think that's enough. Tyreek Hill and 4 first-round picks kind of thing. But it's a thing, though. If he's not going to win in Baltimore with what they got right now, the only advantage going to like Minnesota is the coach. You're going to downgrade running back. Receiver, you're going to upgrade. You're going to downgrade tight end. Your offensive line is getting probably worse. And the defense is like, Brian Flores might be gone. There's a lot of rumors that Brian Flores is out the door this offseason, and it might be for another defensive coordinator job, which would be, oh, man, if the Vikings lose Brian Flores to another DC job and can't retain him, oh, boy, that's going to be a problem for that. The fans are going to be pissed.
I just want to see Lamar with a true number one receiver. He's never had it. They think Zay Flowers is not a number one. I like him because he does a lot in the community too. Like he's actually at he comes to the football games where my girlfriend coach at, like literally every Friday, just to be a presence in the community. But he's not a number one. Like I want to see Lamar with a number one.
Yeah. Waddle's not quite a number one.
He's not a number one.
I think Waddle and Higgins are the best number twos in football kind of thing. But Higgins I could see more being a true number one. Yeah. Waddle a little bit less. Yeah. But I don't know. Again, I just think Lamar would not stamp any trade that's not Miami given his hometown stuff. I think that's it. It's a beautiful area. He's got everything there.
Baltimore, please don't trade him.
I don't think they should get rid of him. They shouldn't. But
fire John Harbaugh before y'all get rid of him. Don't trade him, please. That'd be the worst thing that ever happened.
And if they make a run, you better not. If they make a run in the playoffs, and there should not even be a thought, you'd be like, all right, we're back. It's working. We can do this. We just got to go get a freaking receiver, and we got to kind of get another asset on the defense because we can still win games.
And just don't make Lamar have to win the games. We have Derrick Henry.
Run the ball.
That's all we got to do, Austin. But, I mean, we'll see.
Yep. All right, last one here. Speaking of Dolphins, the Dolphins, I found this little nugget, are bringing in Troy Aikman as a consultant to advise on their GM search. So what I'm hearing is they're bringing Troy Aikman in to make sure they don't mess up whoever the next quarterback is going to be as well. It's pretty much all I'm hearing is they're bringing in a Hall of Fame quarterback to make sure they get their quarterback situation right. It's not a permanent role. It's an off-season type of thing. And got me thinking, I was like, is this something that more teams should lean into, is bringing in someone who is one of the game's positionals all-timers to help evaluate their organizational and or like roster construction? Because if you think about the corporate world, right, they do this all the time at the highest levels. They bring in outside consultants to advise at the highest level, not for like small roles, but the big dog roles. They bring in outside people who do this at the highest level to help them evaluate. You don't see it or hear about it at least as much. And I'm like, I think it'd be a worthwhile. I think it's a smart move for the Dolphins. I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
So I have extensive history with my guy, Troy Aikman. So I think it's a good idea, but now I don't want people to think that everybody's Troy Aikman. If you listen to Troy Aikman when he's a commentator, he's a truth teller. He's no matter if he's talking about the Cowboys, he tells the truth about the position. He tells the truth about teams. Hey, where you need to improve. So even when he was a quarterback and he was the leader of the team, Michael Irvin, everybody would say, hey, listen, Troy Aikman was going to tell you the truth about, hey, what you needed to be doing, what you should be doing, and he wasn't scared of anybody. So I think a guy like Troy Aikman can help that situation because he's just going to tell what his eyes see. He's not going to be biased over no money, not going to be biased over nobody he loves. Because, listen, I've seen him trash Cowboys and Jerry Jones. And, I mean, Jerry Jones made him rich. Let's be clear. He even made you rich. But I think Troy Aikman is a truth teller, so I just think that's a good thing for Miami to bring somebody in there who's going to help, and he knows what he's looking at. If you just listen to him when he called games, he knows football. He knows the position. That is one of the smartest things that Miami can ever do, trying to find the next guy.
That's 100% where I was gonna end my point on is if this isn't there's a difference between being great at the position and being great at evaluating the position. Not everyone can coach, not everyone can be an evaluator, even if you're a player. Troy Aikman seems to be a great evaluator at the position, and he's really good at knowing what he's looking at, and he's done it for a long time now. So I think in that sense, the GM thing again, I think is a mass to say we're bringing in Aikman to kind of guide us on the quarterback direction here. I thought it was a really smart move. So if you can get someone who A, tremendously successful at the position, B, is no doubt a great evaluator of that position, I think more teams got to lean into this. Now, the problem is you got internal people. They just can't be the loudest voice in the room.
For sure.
That's where Miami's going to have to tiptoe around. You just can't have that person be the loudest voice in the room because you still got people who are full-time employees who are paid to do this type of thing. But I think it's a smart move by Miami, and I wouldn't say it's desperation, but I also would say it's kind of desperation because they got to get right at quarterback. But the Tua thing was a total flop and failure and going to end up being one of the worst contracts ever awarded in football. And they need an immediate, we need to shake this off as quickly as we can type of move now. And
for sure.
Smart move. I feel like you're going to see more of this coming up. I think there's going to be plenty of guys who are deserving of this type of consultant.
No doubt about it.
All right, cool. That's another episode of Chalk Talk Social in the books. Thanks for hanging with us for another year. Now, I know we're only 4 months in, but it's year 2. We're officially going in. Well, shoot, we're in year 1, but, technically.
Still, let's just say the next year. Our second year.
It's technically year 2 of being around. So, I appreciate y'all being with us. We'll be back, like always, next Tuesday. No breaks, all gas. We'll see you.